everyone, and we are welcome to Georgia. This works. And hello, strange to me, besides which with all witchcrafts to this sighting. Purples confuse me, vision gazed. No purple haze those tests today. I said hello is strange to me, besides which wolf or witchcrafts to this side, but confuse me, vision gazed. No purple haze those tests today, and we can. And we never list and rocking easy when we do enter as well as story down no drain. You will expensive me no brain. I said and we never list for rocking easy when we do enter as well as story down no drain. You will expensive me no brain. We know insane make me expensive down the stories no and blame to this insane. And hello is strange to me. Hello is strange to me. It's such a beautiful wish to this side of this. There's no purple haze, that's just Hello is strange to me, besides which wolf or witchcraft to this side, perhaps confuse me, wishing case no purple haze, those that's today and we. And we endeavor list for working easy when we do enter as well as story down no drain. You will expense to me no brain. I said and we never list for rocking easy when we do enter as well as story down no drain. You will expense to me no brain. We know insane make me explain. And we know insane make me expensive down the stars, no unbrain to distance same. And hello is strange to me, besides which wolf for witchcraft to the side.
The so-called great savior of democracy is back, fresh off his Caribbean vacation where he got sunburned into oblivion. President Biden was out in Valley Forge to kick off his first major campaign speech of the year. But it looks like the big guy is all out of big ideas. Instead of talking about his policies or how he'll make your lives better, Biden bashed MAGA supporters in January 6th. The president repeatedly mentioning George Washington while fashioning himself as a defender against dictatorship.
Donald Trump's campaign is about him, not America, not you. Donald Trump's campaign is obsessed with the past, not the future. He's willing to sacrifice our democracy, put himself in power. You know, Trump and his MAGA supporters not only embrace political violence, but they laugh about it. So hear me clearly. I'll say what Donald Trump won't. Political violence is never, ever acceptable in the United States political system. Never, never, never. It has no place in a democracy. This is like something out of a fairy tale. Bad fairy tale. He went on to say he'd be a dictator on day one.
Biden also claiming that you better vote for him or it's the end of democracy.
I make this sacred pledge to you. The defense, protection, preservation of American democracy will remain, as it has been, the central cause of my presidency. Democracy is on the ballot. Your freedom is on the ballot. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men and women are created equal. And I promise you, I will not let Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans force us to walk away.
And while Joe gins up fear that your next-door neighbor could be a MAGA extremist, the media just got busted for perpetuating an extremism hoax. You may remember how Democrats and the liberal press breathlessly hyped the narrative that dangerous right-wing radicals had infiltrated our American military. Well, Joe Biden's own Department of Defense looked into the allegations, and they found no evidence that the U.S. military is packed with violent extremists. According to the report, there were fewer than 100 substantiated cases per year of extremist activities by members of the military in recent years. All right, Jesse, I'll start with you. Joe Biden ran that he was going to unite the country. How does pitting 73 million Americans against the rest of America unite the country?
Well, by the way, what are you doing for January 6th? You want to come over to my house? We're having a little stop and steal watch party. I dress Jesse Jr. up in animal skins. Play a little game we like to call Find the DNC Pipe Bomb. Year after year, we have not found it. Pop quiz, Jessica. Which president skipped the 9/11 ceremony and did the January 6th ceremony? 3, 2, 1. That would be Joe Biden. This guy can't save democracy when he's trying to rip his opponent off of the ballot, slap him with gags, and have him arrested. Judge, he ran his first campaign on Charlottesville. The second campaign is now on January 6th. He actually thinks Donald Trump wants to be a dictator. So the first campaign he ran on was a hoax. The second one, this is now a joke. You can't actually be from the party that literally started a racist insurrection and accuse the other party of the same thing. That's like Bill Clinton saying it's disqualifying for someone to sleep with an intern and run for office. I am so tired of Joe Biden running on January 6th. If I were Donald Trump, I'd run on July 4th. No one is more patriotic than Donald Trump. And I remember back in like the late 80s, he was talking about the Japanese ripping the Trump while Joe Biden was blocking the blasphemy from the court. And Joe Biden is letting China pillage this country. Donald Trump wants to trade war against them. Donald Trump secured the border. Joe Biden's letting 5 million mystery men just wander in. What kind of patriotic person does that? Donald Trump spent his whole life building skyscrapers, creating jobs, developing beautiful tracts of land. Joe Biden sitting on his keister, backslapping and glad-handing his whole life. Done nothing. He's done nothing. And the racism thing has to stop, Jessica, okay? Donald Trump did it wrong. And Joe Biden never did it wrong. Donald Trump was calling around with Donald Trump when your guy is calling around with segregation. Joe Biden, I'm not finished, all right? I'll finish off with the point.
All right, we have about 2 minutes. The United States Supreme Court has agreed to hear the appeal of former President Trump's Colorado ballot disqualification. Oral arguments will be held Thursday, February 8th. All right, Sandra, let's talk about that. Colorado, the justices, all Democrats, took took Donald Trump, off the ballot. Maine Secretary of State, a Democrat, takes him off the ballot. How is it that you got the candidate for President, Joe Biden, saying he's saving democracy when his party is taking the number one at this point sought-after candidate, not just the Republican Party, but in terms of the polls, Donald Trump off the ballot?
And what we have seen in the polls is this is only firing up his base even more. So the more they go after him, the more they try to take him off the ballot. The message is, this fires up the base, improves his status in the polls, and it will benefit him in this election year. I think there's a lot to take in here and tying it into our overall discussion with what we heard from President Biden a short time ago. I think there's a couple of ways to look at that. There was a very firm message that was delivered by the president there. Agree with it, disagree with it. That was a president that is fired up and ready to run against that man, the former president, Donald Trump. As far as the content is concerned, tie this into this as well, what you just said, Judge. He said, President Biden today, democracy is on the ballot. Freedom is on the ballot. Jonathan Turley came in on the air right after that speech concluded. And he said, we would be remiss not to say that this has been one of the most anti-free speech presidencies of our lifetime, potentially in our history of the country. Nikki Haley was on our air right before Biden took to that podium. She used it as a campaign message, right? She said, watch, you're going to see President Biden tee off against Donald Trump in his first campaign speech. You put Donald Trump up there as your nominee, this is what you're going to see, this Trump-Biden fight that's going to continue. In that message, Biden said Donald Trump's campaign is obsessed with the past, not the future. That is irony, considering President Biden stood up there and did not tout what he has done, right? He could not look back at the past, at what his performance in office. Jessica, I saw the look. Nice to see you guys are getting along here. But how can you tout $3 a gallon gasoline right now, right? An economy where consumer prices are up 17%. Go to the grocery store right now. That's why he's not doing well in the economy. And security, going back to the border. People don't feel safe in their neighborhoods right now. So this is all on the ballot.
All right, Jessica, do you want to respond to that?
Sure, I would love to. So today's speech was not about anything but January 6th and saving democracy. You can give a speech tomorrow about the economy, and there have been commentators all over every major channel, including our own, talking about how good today's job report numbers were. 216,000 jobs added, 3.7% unemployment, 4.1% wage growth. One of the most interesting things is the lowest black unemployment rate that we've ever had in history. He has a lot to talk about, and he will do that. But today was about saving democracy, and the contrast between Joe Biden, who, yes, whether he is invigorated from having some time off, which he rightly deserved, or maybe this is just how campaign mode is going to be, and I hope that it's true. He's talking about this, and Donald Trump is posting memes about how, quote, God made Trump, and over 40 posts going after E. Jean Carroll, a woman he was found to have sexually assaulted and defamed. The reason that Joe Biden is talking about January 6th and former President Trump living in the past is because he has not moved on. From the big lie to the fact that we just saw in the Detroit News last night, the story came out that the Trump campaign directly coordinated the filing of a certificate signed by 16 Michigan Republicans that falsely claimed that he won the state. Jack Smith will obviously get his day in court to bring a case about January 6th election interference. We will see what happens in Fulton County in Georgia. But this man continues to lie to the entire world about what happened in the election, and he did foment what happened on January 6th. All of his friends and family and closest advisors were texting him, begging him to stop doing it. And what did he do? He said Mike Pence didn't do what he was supposed to a crowd. I guess he would call them tourists. So people carrying the Confederate flag, there was a noose on the premises of January 6th. And cops were beaten, windows smashed, people showed up with zip ties. This was not a friendly affair. So this is the contrast, and this is why Joe Biden won by 7 million votes, because you have a person who wants to subvert democracy and a person who accepts democratic results. And the Colorado case was brought by Republicans. It also went through a 5-day bench trial. It should go to the Supreme Court, and I imagine that they will rule that his name should be on the ballot. But it has nothing to do with Joe Biden.
Democratic to take your...
No, Hestos yesterday said it always strange to me, besides which word for witchcraft to the side about confuse me, which in case no people Hestos yesterday and me in. Yeah. And we never understand working easy when we do enter as well as starting down no drain. You will expensive me no brain. I said and we never list for working easy when we do and try as well. I started down no trend you with expensive me no brain me no insane make me expensive down to storage no and blame through this and same. And hello is strange to me. Hello is strange to me. Besides which wolf or which truth to this cycle does confuse me. Vision gaze no purple haze does just curtain and be in the back. Yeah, hello is strange to me. Besides which wolf or witchcraft today, side purpose confuse me. Vision gaze no purple haze does just today and we. And we never list for working easy when we do and try as well. As well as story down no drain, you will experience to me no brain. I said and we never list for working easy when we do and try as well as story down no drain, you will experience to me no brain, me no insane make me explain. Me no insane make me explain. Me no. And we know insane make me expensive down to storage, no and blame to distance same. And hello is strange to me, besides which wolf or witchcraft today, sad